Graham, good to talk to you.
Thank you.
So, less than a week ago, you told CBS Face the Nation, I don't trust Turkey to take care of the Kurds. We don't want Turkey to slaughter the Kurds.
Right.
Have you changed your mind now?
No, it's not about trusting Turkey to take care of the Kurds. It's the YPG elements. I trust Turkey to do what's in their national security interest, which is to make sure that the YPG elements we trained are not a threat to Turkey. So I'm telling President Trump, this problem was created in 2016. I talked about it before. So I'm here to tell Turkey, as I did in 2016, I see your dilemma. I'd like to help solve it. We owe it to Turkey that when we withdraw, if we withdraw, that we do not create a terrorist corridor, an enclave of terrorists in the eyes of Turkey inside of Syria, armed by the Americans.
So when you say Kurds, you mean the YPG?
The YPG element is integrated with the PKK in my view. I said this before, just read their manifesto. They helped us with ISIS. I appreciate that. But what I said in 2016 is that you're creating a bigger problem. If this is your fighting force against ISIS, Turkey will never accept this as a legitimate organization. In the eyes of the Turkish government, they're an offshoot of the PKK. I understand why Turkey believes that. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that. So what I'm asking President Trump to do is let's fix the problem for Turkey that we caused. Now, how do you do that? You start with Manbij. You get all the YPG elements out of Manbij. You let a governing council be created that's acceptable to Turkey and the people in Manbij. And if you can get that right, then you start talking about a buffer zone.
So when we look at Turkey's dilemma, do you support Turkey's right to protect its border?
Absolutely. I mean, I said this in 2016. I mean, in the eyes of Turkey, what the United States has done is armed a terrorist organization. Okay, most people in the United States, when they say Kurd, they don't understand the difference. There are millions of Kurds inside of Turkey that live peacefully and are part of Turkish society. The problem is that the YPG element, in the eyes of our ally Turkey, is an offshoot of the PKK. They were agnostic about Assad. They were the most effective fighting force to deal with ISIS. What Obama did is he chose to rely upon this element, the YPG, to destroy ISIS because he did not want to upset Iran because he wanted a nuclear deal with Iran. So he threw the people of Syria over and he threw Turkey over. Now, what I'm telling President Trump, I share your goal of reducing our presence, but we owe it to Turkey to get this right. And if you want allies in the future, even though they may not be perfect, you owe it to get that right too. So how do you do this? You destroy ISIS before we withdraw, and you see if you can get the roadmap to Manbij implemented before we withdraw. And after that, you come up with a plan to ensure Turkey they do not have to worry about the armed elements that we've created inside of Syria.
You said in your press conference, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm
Sure.
wrong, you said, we need to give them something, those who fought ISIS with us, for us. Hezbollah fights ISIS as well. Iran fights ISIS. Why don't you give them something? Well, Assad fights ISIS.
Yeah, what I said is that they aligned, that they didn't fight ISIS with us. The bottom line is what I said is that if we don't get this right, we're going to regret it. We're going to regret creating a problem for Turkey, so let's fix it. Now, the Syrian Democratic Forces have Arabs in them. They have non-YPG Kurds, and they got YPG elements. What we got to get right is to make sure that that force is taken care of in the sense that nobody will partner with us in the future. So what I'm telling Turkey is I'm sorry that we created this problem. I said it a long time ago. It was a dumb idea then. It proved to be a dumb idea. So let's don't make a dumb idea worse. What would be worse is for us to leave and have Turkey have to come into Syria to deal with the armed elements that America created in the eyes of Turkey that are terrorists. That would be really dumb to put Turkey in that spot, because if they go into Syria, it's going to be a nightmare for Turkey.
Many people find some similarities with what you're trying to achieve now with what someone like the late Senator John McCain was trying to do with Iraq and elsewhere.
A lot of similarities.
Okay, and so you would go back home, you'd speak to President Trump, and you'd tell him this is what President Erdogan said, this is the Turkish perspective, let's try and thread this needle and finesse this policy, right? But you have a president who just recently on Twitter threatened economic destruction of Turkey. So is he going to listen to you? Was he wrong to threaten Turkey?
I think President Trump campaigned on getting out of Syria. President Obama campaigned of ending the war in Iraq. Here's what I told President Obama. It's not the campaign promise you make that's most important, it's what you do as Commander-in-Chief. President Trump will run again in 2020. I will support him. I think he's done a good job overall. But his judgment's going to be tested. You're going to be judged by the decisions you make as Commander-in-Chief. Did you make things better or worse in Syria?
Does he need to be educated about it?
I think he is very sensitive to the issue. He likes President Erdogan. But most people in America do not get this nuance. You know, the Kurds are well thought of in America.
But when you say we need to make sure Turkey doesn't slaughter the Kurds on CBS, people think Kurds. They think Kurdish people living in Syria. So Turkey's going to go in and just kill them.
Right. This is a shorthand for saying we do not want to create a war between Turkey and elements that we trained inside of Syria. It's not fair to Turkey. But I don't have to justify anything. I saw this coming a long time ago. Everything I saw coming has happened. And I'm telling President Trump, listen, there's a way to reduce our presence, but you got to achieve three goals. You got to make sure Iran's not the biggest winner if we leave. You got to make sure ISIS doesn't come back. They're not defeated yet. And you better fix this problem with Turkey. Because if you don't fix this problem with Turkey, the war is going to widen. Turkey is not going to accept the YPG elements with heavy armament inside of Syria to be left abandoned, just to be left alone. They'll come in and clean them out themselves, and that'll be a wider war. They'll align with Assad, and the next thing you know, in trying to end the fight against ISIS, we create a whole new war. You can avoid all that. How do you avoid it? You give Turkey the assurances they need and deserve that the elements we trained inside of Syria will not be a threat to Turkey.
Senator Lindsey Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.